Social media has become a part of everyday life with almost 4 billion users worldwide and people spending a lifetime average of 5 years and 3 months on social media. Overall, there are many negative impacts that come from social media, which affect us in our health in many ways, which is why you should not have any social media. I will persuade you guys about the negative impact of social media and why you should not have any social media because of these impacts. And at the end of my speech, you will be aware of all the negative effects social media has on us and our health, as well as the dangers and consequences we endure because of it, which will hopefully make you guys not have any social media or get it. First, I'll explain the health problem social media creates with studies to back it up of how it is harmful and why you should not have it or get it. Secondly, I will explain the issue of high usage of social media, which leads to even more problems to again persuade you to not have any social media. Third and lastly, I will explain things you could be doing that benefit you and help you instead of wasting your time and suffering from social media. Social media has had many health issues with many studies to prove it that do not get put in the spotlight and talked about like all the posts, comments, stories, etc. do. First, I'll explain the health problems social media creates with studies to back it up of how it is harmful and why you should not get it or have any social media. My first source is Social Media and Mental Health by Help Guide, which talks about how social media affects mental health, more specifically, the negative impact it has. This article discusses how things like posts, images, etc. play a key role on humans. They say that the negative impacts of social media are people begin to feel more insecure about themselves when they see posts, or can even give them a fear of missing out on things which studies have shown for these too. Another thing the article talks about is how social media can also give people depression and anxiety by not giving face-to-face contact with which affects a person's mental health. These issues do not stop there because it can also result in cyberbullying with people commenting hurtful things, rumors, or lies, which people can lead to mental health issues and suicides. Finally, this article brings up how self-absorption can occur as a result of social media with all the selfies and personal things social media does with our phones these days and other tablets. All of these things can be hiding problems such as depression, anxiety, stress, loneliness, self-centeredness, and make it harder to reveal life's connections. There are even studies to back up this information by my next source being Teens and Social Media Use, What's the Impact? By the Mayo Clinic staff, which also discusses the negative impact of social media, but they use studies to show how it has impacted people. The article discusses a study. This one is a 2019 study of more than 6,500 12 to 15-year-olds in the United States who have spent more than 3 hours a day using social media might be at a heightened risk for mental health issues. These staggering statistics not only show the negative impacts of social media, but they show how they are reliable by using studies to back up their information. The Mayo Clinic staff also discusses how social media negatively affects sleep, depression, and anxiety by a study in 2016 stating that more than 450 teens found greater social media use, nighttime social media use, and emotional investment in social media, such as feeling upset when prevented from logging on, were linked with worse sleep quality and higher levels of anxiety and depression. This helps to show another negative impact of social media, which will help make people more aware of how dangerous and consequential it can be, and why you should not have it or get it so that you can have a happy, healthy life, problem-free of social media and all these health issues, as the studies have shown. These studies help show the negative impact social media has on these people, but these health issues are not the only problems that come from social media. Second, I will explain the issue of high usage of social media, which leads to even more problems to show again why you should not have or get any social media. Another issue brought up by my first source, which is Social Media and Mental Health by Help Guide, is that the amount of time people spend on social media can lead to isolation, which the University of Pennsylvania found in a study. This large amount of time on social media can also lead to an addiction to it and can be sort of a security blanket for people if they are stressed or have anxiety. My last source is Social Media Bad for You? The Evidence and the Unknowns by Jessica Brown, and she discusses all the bad statistics that occur from social media. She talks about increased usage of social media leads to many things such as addiction by Brown saying. In 2011, Daria Kuss and Mark Griffiths from Nottingham Trent University in the UK have analyzed 43 previous studies on the matter and conclude that social media addiction is a mental health problem that may require professional treatment. This addiction / usage to social media does not stop there. It also creates problems with people by Brown's showing a study that states they found out that excessive usage was linked to relationship problems, worse academic achievement, and less participation in offline communities. And found that those who can be more vulnerable to a social media addiction include those dependent on alcohol, the highly extroverted, and those who use social media to compensate for fewer ties in real life. These all have negative impacts on social media, which is why it can create fatal consequences, which again proves why you should not have or get any social media, so that you cannot suffer from these consequences, which result in death and other serious health problems. And instead, you can live a long, happy, healthy life by just removing it from your life and focusing on the actual important things, such as family and friends. With all these issues and health problems that come from social media, it's easy to see why you should not have or get it. But there are many things you can do to fill that void. Third and lastly, I will explain things you could be doing that benefit you and help you instead of getting social media and suffering from these issues and wasting your life away. Instead of using social media, you have a lot more free time to focus on the important things in your life, such as family and friends. You will also be able to do activities that benefit your health with all the new free time by cutting out social media, such as exercise, reading books, trying new hobbies, and things out, and catching up on sleep since social media negatively affects your sleep, and many other things such as those. By doing that, your life will be a lot more healthy and stress free since you will be cutting out social media, which creates many problems for you and your health. By being able to cut this out, you will have a life that is more focused on the things truly important and essential to your life, with much more free time to do something productive instead of wasting your life away and being hurt by social media. It will also improve your health by cutting it out by sleeping better and more often, not having the mental health issues that come from social media, such as low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, insecurity, etc. There are so many positives once you cut out social media of your life that your future will be so much better in many ways that you will even question why you had it in the first place. The way to obtain this life with all these positive aspects is to first cut out social media by not having it or getting it, as well as deleting the account and the apps from all of your devices, such as your phone, tablet, computer, etc. You next will realize that you feel you have a lot of free time to then take the steps to do productive and healthy things that will benefit you in your life / health, such as the many things I've discussed. By doing these steps, your life will transform for the better, which will result in many good things for you by removing social media and all its consequences from your life. All of these points highlight the negative impacts of social media and how it affects us and our health, which is why we should remove it from our life and start doing productive things that actually benefit us and our health, unlike social media. With all of these points on why you should not have or get any social media due to all of its negative impacts on you and your health, from the health problems social media creates with studies to back it up of how harmful it is, to the issues of high usage to social media, which leads to even more problems, and even to instead do things that benefit you and help you instead of social media, which hurts you in so many ways. It is easy to see that social media harms us and that we should remove it from our lives and not get it or have it at all. Social media is very harmful and has many negative impacts on us and our health that we should not have it or get it. So instead, we should remove it from our lives. In order to truly live a happy, healthy, and productive life, we must follow this famous saying that we must disconnect to truly connect. And just because it's not on social media does not mean it is happening. Thank you.
Humans are natural born social animals who have built great societies and cities connected and independent on communities. As time goes on and humanity progresses in technology and science, the dependence on community lessens. As we navigate through our current times, it is imperative that we re emphasize how important community is. An answer to lack of community closeness and inclusion is community service. In fact, community service is a great way for the youth growing up in the age of social media to give back and receive positive human interaction. The objective of this speech is to persuade my audience that all schools should require youth to participate in community service/volunteerism, as I believe that volunteer programs should be a mandatory part of all school systems. One of the top reasons as to why I believe this that the community service pushes the youth to develop respectable skills and traits, as well as expose them to situations in which their perspective might change and grow. In addition, when the youth are more greatly involved in helping those in need in our communities, there is more connection between generations and positive change. Lastly, a continued involvement in community service can lead those who volunteer to their life path or can be used on resumes or applications. With social media consuming the lives of many teens and youth, there has been a major disconnection to the community. Many kids go without a constant, meaningful connection that teaches them humility, empathy, and compassion. If volunteerism was mandatory across all school systems, the younger generation would see a spike in personal growth and positive personality changes. Volunteerism has the powerful ability to breed empathy and compassion by putting human relationships first. An article from the Borgen Project covers how putting two groups of people within the community together and encouraging positive interactions allows for understanding, which leads to empathy. It is proven that when people volunteer more, their empathy increases, as it is a great way to charge your social batteries and fill up the heart. In combination with empathy, community service teaches selflessness and humility. Another great example of how community service can encourage growth within our young is that they become more innovative. When volunteering, you open yourself up to so many different types of people. Whether they are fellow volunteers, organizers of the program, or the community being helped, volunteerism brings all walks of life together. This brings multiple lenses in which people see and interpret life. When you volunteer, you expose yourself to lots of different types of diversity at once. People, professional, cultural, organizational are some to name. This exposure to diversity improves your ability to work with people in the future. Bottom line, volunteerism makes for diversity, which makes for innovation and creativity. Finally, community service/volunteerism gives students and young people a sense of accomplishment, purpose, and a role in society. Whether it be physical hard work or emotional work and vulnerability, many can see the direct impacts and results of their service. Having a sense of accomplishment and being able to look back and see that you've contributed positively builds up the confidence in our youth. All in all, community service allows those to find a place, achieving a greater sense of security of self. Not only do these works of service individually impact those who participate, but it grows the community as a whole. Making volunteers work for young kids mandatory makes for better community and positively impacts those being served. Volunteering preaches and promotes civic engagement between all people within our societies. With that being said, community service connects people from all backgrounds together. With people from all sectors interacting and uplifting each other, society is benefited. It is even more special when the youth volunteers, as it allows older generations to connect with each other. Many of these benefits include diversity, shared wisdom, random acts of kindness, new friendships, and many more. A lot of volunteering work yields beautiful results that improve and beautify our community. For example, restoration and beautification projects are common types of service that the youth participate in. For instance, helping to build houses, trash initiatives, replanting gardens, building memorials, cleaning neighborhoods are all types of service that the youth participate in and give back to the community. I've actually had the pleasure of seeing the hard work of community service benefit and beautify our community. In 8th grade, my family and I were regular volunteers at Woodward Park to build the Art of Life Healing Garden. The Healing Garden is a part of the park dedicated to those who have passed with cancer. There are factors of the garden where you can walk, sit down and think, and look at the memorials of those who have passed. This meant a lot to my family, as we have had family members who have passed with cancer. Not only did this make my family closer, but our sense of community stronger. For my visual, I have pictures of the work done at the park. Lastly, the work that the youth do can be extremely inspiring to many people. It can inspire others to get more involved in community service. Seeing young people be active members of the community forces older members to reevaluate their own contributions. This can lead to people really adjusting their lives to the community and dedicating time to service. The other group that can be inspired is those who are being served. Those being served can be inspired by the youth and the service being performed for them and can encourage many to go out and get jobs, find a career, better themselves, work harder, get educated, and so on. As volunteer work helps many members of our society get back up on their feet, it can also help volunteers in future opportunities and ventures. A continued involvement in community service can lead those who volunteer to find their life path, or it could be used on resumes and applications for future opportunities. Volunteering can help youth discover their many passions in life. In particular, young people can test out their gifts and form a passion and love for human relation work, service, construction, and other social career paths. Many people who volunteered when they were younger go into philanthropy or become social workers. All in all, volunteering can help others discover their passions and give them the experience and confidence to pursue them and be successful in their endeavors. Even if volunteerism doesn't lead one to the career path for them, their experience can still shape their successes. On college applications, service can be extremely important. Almost all schools look for commitment and community involvement from their applicants. Consistent volunteer time amongst students can be a deciding factor between candidates. Not only does volunteering benefit others, the community, and personal growth, but school opportunities as well. Volunteering also looks well on job applications. Volunteering can show consistency, dedication, and leadership skills. Volunteerism and community service also can land other opportunities like internships and other non-paid experiences to enhance a resume. A book I am reading in leadership class called Servant is Leader covers how humility and serving others first is the best step towards becoming a great leader. Based off the book, volunteerism is a great way to practice the principles in the book and exert leadership skills. In closing, volunteer work and community service should be mandatory, extracurricular in the lives of our youth. In a world where human relations are becoming less and less valued, we need to encourage service and closeness as a community. Teaching the young of society the importance of service is a win-win situation for all. It results in personal growth for the community, and prepares the youth for future opportunities in their adolescence and adulthood. Knowing the benefits and positivity that would breed from students and kids being involved in service, we should encourage our school districts to implement programs. Even if petitions and parent encouragement is not enough, we should not stop. As members of society, we should advocate for service within our own homes and teach one another how to serve. Thank you.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Do you want a better quality of life? Do you want to make sure that you can watch your children walk the stage? Then I'm going to offer you a simple solution that will only require 30 minutes of your day to start feeling a difference and make sure you live to see that day. The solution is very simple and effective as you just seen right now. All you must do is exercise or engage in some sort of physical activity for at least 30 minutes a day. The purpose of my speech is to persuade you, I apologize, is to persuade you to begin to begin or start exercising on a daily basis. I will attempt to shift your values and inform you of the tons of benefits that come with exercising so that you have a better understanding of how to improve your quality of life at the end of this speech. But first, I will preview my main points. My first main point is that exercise offers a ton of health benefits. 2, exercise does not require large portions of your time. And 3, exercise can be performed by anyone with the ability to do so. I will begin with my first main point, in which I will explain the many benefits of exercise. For the purposes of my speech, I will define exercise as any physical activity that requires you to use energy. So this includes a broad range of activities such as walking, running, lifting weights, and jumping jacks, as you've seen me do before this speech. So according to the University of Harvard, exercising offers a wide range of health benefits such as losing weight, but this is no surprise, of course. They also found that exercise can help on a cellular level, which means because studies have shown that mitochondria, the powerhouse of a cell, works more efficiently at burning fat in people who are active. In addition, the more efficiently our mitochondria work, the less prone we are to diseases such as diabetes and Alzheimer's. If that alone is not enough to convince you to start exercising, then I hope this does. According to the for Disease Control and Prevention, the two leading causes of death in the United States are heart disease and stroke. Luckily for you, exercise is heavily associated with heart health, and you can help avoid serious cardiovascular disease and strokes by simply exercising. Now I will move on to my second main point, in which I'll explain one of the main reasons why people do not exercise. For many people, they attempt to justify that they do not exercise because they do not have the time to do so. This is a common theme amongst many people, but I have a response to this claim. In order to achieve these benefits, you are not required to engage in hours of extraneous activity. All you need to do is engage in some sort of physical activity for at least 30 to 60 minutes a day to reap the benefits. In addition, people who are physically active for 150 minutes a week have a 33% risk of all-cause mortality than those who are physically inactive. This means you have a 33% chance of living longer if you simply go on a walk every day. That, in my opinion, is a good deal. Lastly, I will present to you my last and final point as why you should keep exercising or start exercising. Exercising is beneficial to everyone, regardless of how old or what physical fitness you are. Based on research done by Dr. Susan Chang, who is affiliated with Harvard University, states that people with advanced age who already have had a heart attack are 20% less likely to develop serious heart trouble if they participate in some aerobatic exercise based cardiac rehabilitation program. Now you may ask yourself, how does this apply to me? I am a healthy teenager in high school with a long life ahead of me. Well, yes, you are young now and you're healthy now, but exercising keeps you fit and you will benefit from these benefits so much in the future. It is not a myth that you will get old and your fitness level will decrease. This is a fact. You will continue to get old, but you can decrease the level of speed in which you age if you engage in physical activity for at least 150 minutes a week. You are all young and healthy now, but one day you will be old and frail. There's no doubt about it. But you can either choose to have that to work out for those 60 minutes and live a longer and healthier life until God says it's time, or you could be that frail old person at 70 years old. I conclude with a summary of today's main points. 1, exercise offers tons of health benefits, and it does not require a lot of time and effort. And lastly, anyone who can engage in exercise should do so. So today I'd like to end this. I did not mean to bombard you with stats and details, but there is truth in everything that I did tell you today. I did not mean to frighten you, but I do mean to inform you so you can, I apologize, but I do mean to inform you so you can make a shift in your values about exercise. This is your call to start improving your life to ensuring a long and healthy future. Thank you.
our culture, a lot of times people advise us to compare ourselves with others. You should be like your father. You can win. The others aren't as good as you. You must be the best in your class, etc. And this is not always the best way of thinking. There are many reasons to change this way of thinking and begin to compare ourselves only with ourselves. This is the way it should be, and in this paper, I will discuss some of the most important reasons for this. The first reason is to avoid comparing yourself with others, is that there will be always someone better than you. It doesn't matter in which aspect, but it is always true. Therefore, you could feel inferior to others and maybe without a real reason. For example, you can be an incredible architect and the best of your generation, and this can make you feel incredibly good. But if someday someone is better than you are, you could feel sad, although you are still the same incredible architect that you were before. The second reason to elude this kind of comparison is that you will always find someone worse than you. But as opposed to the first reason, this can make you feel better than the others. And this feeling can turn into a horrible pride. For example, if you are the second best student of your class, and one day the very best student leaves the school, you will then be the best one, although you will still only be as good as you were before. These two first reasons lead us to a third one. If you want to be better than others, you don't need to improve yourself. You only have to make the others look bad. If I want to be a leader of the group, but you are the leader now, what I need to do is to make you look like a traitor or stupid, and then I can take your place. Then I will be better than you. A fourth reason to stop comparing ourselves is that one who compares him or herself with others is judging, and this doesn't help us develop as human beings. Nobody knows the internal reality of the other. Nobody knows his or her story and his or her most deepest intentions. And when we judge, it's harder to accept others. The last but most important reason to avoid comparing ourselves with others is that when we do, we can be tempted to copy them, to do the same things, and to act and think like them. The problem with this is that if we copy someone, we will never know who we really are and what we really want, and then we will never grow spiritually. For all these reasons, and because we are unique, we should not compare ourselves with others, only with ourselves. The only comparison patterns that we really have is our own consciousness. So if we use these patterns, we will not feel less or more than others. We will not try to make others look bad. We will not judge so much, and we will accept ourselves as we really are. In other words, we will live happier.